This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the
San Diego Padres.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Padre fan, and welcome to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, and it is a tough day to be a Padre fan today. Not because you don't love your team. They give it all they have every game, but tough loss again to the New York Mets. And I said it coming into the series, the Mets were getting hot. They had lost 8 games in a row. They finished up their weekend series with a walk-off win. Pete Alonso with a home run. Yeah, and I said it coming in. Oh, man, the Mets are getting hot right now, and they proved it in this series. The Mets, who are in third place in the NL wild card behind the Padres. Thankfully, the Padres were able to get that one game in the middle of this series, even though they lost it 2-1, because they're still right where they started the series, which is 4 games up on the Mets. Mets with very little room, with the Diamondbacks behind them. So they really needed these games a lot more than the Padres did. Looking more and more like you're locked in against the Cubs in the first round, but a very concerning number to tell you about in today's show. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but a very concerning number for the Padres. Amongst many concerning numbers, the Mets hit 7 home runs this weekend, 2 more today, and what a week, midweek series, playoff atmosphere in New York. I mean, the Padres could be in real trouble, though, and I'm also going to tell you why I think they might be really, really in trouble heading into the playoff push, and really inside of 10 games remaining. Every game's a playoff game now. Anyway, it's Padres Postcast, 6-1 Mets in the final. If it weren't for Manny's grand slam yesterday, yeah, I know. If is a dangerous word, but man, oh man, tough one for the Padres. It's your Padres Postcast. All that coming up, plus the turning point, the star of the game, a look ahead to a weekend series in Chicago. Last bit of friendly scheduling for the Pods against the lowly White Sox this weekend. And then, of course, it's home for the Brewers, astonishingly one of the best teams in baseball, right there at the top of the National League standings. And then you finish with the D-backs, and that's a home series as well. So 6 at home to finish it off. The last road series is in Chicago, so 9 games left for the Pods, 2.5 behind the Dodgers. The Dodgers weekend series against the Giants, and then the Diamondbacks as well. So interesting, Dodgers and Padres in a division that nobody seems to want to win. And then the wild card race looking like Padres, Cubs, looking like the Mets will be the last seed, playing the 3 seed, Phillies and Brewers battling for the top. And yeah, the Padres probably not going to win the division, but more of a chance to win the division than the first wild card, because you're 4 behind the Cubs with 9 left, and you're 2.5 as of right now behind the Dodgers, but really 3.5 with the tiebreak. And if they win tonight, it's 4 with the tiebreak, 4 behind the Cubs as well. But the Padres and Cubs, I'd have to look into it more because they split the season series, so I'm not sure what the tiebreak would be there. But I will, as I go day by day with the postcast, keep you informed. And Javier Reyes will too with the podcast. This is your Padres Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, Gries, at Jim Gries _. Thank you for making us your first watch or listen every day. We're live after every game, right after the game on YouTube. Then after that, we upload, you download. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and of course, you download OPP. No, it's OTT. Yeah, you know me. Free on Roku as well. Padres Postcast, it's Gries. Let's roll.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Another tough one for the Pods is what we'll be talking about here today. And that is because their offense couldn't get anything really going this weekend. They did have good power numbers this weekend. They hit the 3 solo homers in the opening game. They hit the ball like crazy yesterday. I mean, they had 6 hits today. They just really couldn't get anything going. And in a game when they had 3 solo home runs and 2 doubles on Friday night, they only had 2 runners in scoring position aside from the guys who hit the homers. So it just isn't coming together with the offense right now. Bogarts was really starting to come into his own, and he's out. But if you think they're struggling because Xander Bogaerts is out, as Judas Priest would say, you got another thing coming. So Jonah Tong, 5 innings today. And you look at Manaea doing the same thing in the first game. And so you think about the Mets with their pitching had been struggling, Clay Holmes, and they kind of got well a little bit. I'm not crazy. I'm just a little unwell. They got a little bit well this week against, I keep wanting to say this weekend, but in this series against the Pods. Pete Alonso homers for the 4th straight game, 37 on the season. He hit the walk-off on Sunday, came into this series and kept that hot streak going. Brandon Nimmo career high in homers this year. He goes deep, and he did it off Wandy Peralta when Wandy came in to replace Randy Vasquez, who had a good start last time out. But I'm going to talk to you about the starting pitching in a moment. Do not let me forget, please, Lord, to talk about the starting pitching, because it is really a deep, deep, deep concern. Juan Soto, 100th RBI. He's got over 40 homers. He and Alonso, first Mets teammates to have 40-plus homers since Carlos Beltran and Carlos Delgado did it all the way back in the mid-2000s. First series win for the Mets since September 1st through 3rd against the Tigers, a real good team in the American League. 2-game lead for the Mets over the D-backs. They're idle today in that wild card race, so 9 games left. And the Mets are 2 games ahead in that race, and they're pretty far behind the Padres, 4 back. So that's a tough one, just like the Padres, 4 back behind the Cubs. So interestingly enough, just a good start for Tong, a nice afternoon for the Mets offensively, smashing the ball all over the yard as they've been doing all series. 8 strikeouts for Tong. It's just not, the Padres just aren't getting it done. They ran into another out. And this was, to me, a big, big turning point in today's game when Manny Machado, and this is a tough one, he hits one off the wall, right? Manny, why you bugging? Hit the grand slam yesterday, getting hot, swinging the bat pretty well, but Manny ran into a big out, and it turned out to be a huge out because they didn't get a whole heck of a lot going in this game, and Manny Machado running into that out was a very, very tough start to the game. Why? Because Luis Arraez singled with 1 out in the first inning. Fernando flies to right, day game, tough to see, right? Luis Arraez singles, and then Manny rips one off the wall in left field. Arraez is easily going into third. Manny, thinking Nimmo, the left fielder, is going to throw the ball to third base. He throws it to the shortstop cutoff man, who's in between the two, really out of position. And just the way things have been going for the Padres, they ran into 2 outs on the bases last night. Manny thrown out at second. So instead of first and third with 1 away, you got 2 outs and a runner on third, and then Merrill strikes out and you don't get him in. And Merrill's the guy you would want up in that spot right now, as hot as he's been. So that was a huge, huge spot in this game. And last night they got away with it because Manny hit the grand slam. And tonight they didn't get away with it today. You know what I'm saying? So Randy Vasquez goes to 5-7. He was awful today. Nimmo greeted Wandy Peralta with the homer. Estrada gave one up yesterday. So as great as Miller has been, as great as Morejon has been, Suarez up and down, Adams, of course, out. And, those fringe guys, and I don't want to call them fringe guys, but like long relief / they could get hot and be a short man late in the game. I don't think you can count on Estrada or Peralta in a big spot in the playoffs, especially on the road. You're going to have to go Miller and Morejon and Morejon, Miller, and then Suarez. And I think Miller should be the closer. But anyway, Suarez, 4 runs in 2 1/3 innings. And that's interesting. You know what I mean? So Nimmo tied his career high, by the way. I didn't break it. But Tong's, 22 years old, man. Pretty interesting. So who does it fall on to get the winning going again? Dylan Cease. He's 8-11, 4.59. Pitching against former team, the White Sox. Dylan Cease, probably the second last start to his season, right? And regular season, maybe. But he has been up and down. And it's been up and down within each game. Striking out 8, 9, 10 dudes, but then you get a 4 spot, you get a 5 spot. So Cease will take on his former team. Davis Martin going to pitch for the White Sox, and they are terrible. So hopefully, because you know what I mean? The Mets play the Nationals at home, and and the Cubbies play, I believe, the Reds. So then you think about that, and you're just probably cemented in that spot. Going to play the Cubs in the first round on the road. So a couple of things I wanted to get to, and we will get to them. Deeply concerned about the starting pitching, and there's that number, the ominous, and I'm going to give you the number, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because maybe you put your thinking cap on and you wonder, okay, what would these numbers signify? 1 and 10, and I'll give you the Padres record is 1 and 10 against, and the context is, I will tell you on the other side of the break. Also, the star of the game and a look ahead to the White Sox series a little bit more. But before we hit our break, and again, it's really kind of a break just to tell you a little bit and give you some special info about companies that are amazing and they love to give you great deals on their products and services, world-class stuff and world-class partners we have here on the network. I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully you don't either. And then we'll hit all that when we come back. But first, we have to get one thing in, and it is
time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So the game was lost in the bottom of the third inning, pardon me. And in that bottom of it, because, you get that top of the first, Manny runs into the out, right? Would have been first and third, 1 out. Instead, 2 outs, run on third. You don't get Louis Arise in. Bottom of the first, Vasquez gives it up, and you're down 1-0. Alonso hits a 2-out homer. But other than that, 2 ground outs and a strikeout, right? He got Soto, he got Nimmo, got Lindor to lead off the game. Man, if Lindor gets going, the Mets could be a real problem. Remember last year they got going much sooner, but they got hot late, and then they were real tough out in the playoffs. But in the third inning, the Padres got a sacrifice fly from Louis Arise to tie the game at 1. And that was after Tatis singled to center, and then a pickoff error on the throw by Tong. Tatis goes to third on a wild pitch. So this is what Fernando does, right? Pickoff error on the pitcher, wild pitch, wreaking havoc on the bases. Got to love it with Fernando. 30-plus steals this year, right? And then Louis hits the sac fly. It's 1-1. But in the bottom of the third inning, it would all be given up. A Mullins single, a Lindor single, Soto an RBI ground out, and then Alonso walks. He's the real hot guy in the lineup right now. So Soto, you're feeling all right. He grounds out and only drives in 1. You're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? It's 2-1 Mets, but you limit the damage there. You walk Alonso, and then you bring in Peralta. Nimmo homers, and then you get Vientos on the strikeout. McNeil walks, and Beatty pops out. You hardly got Beatty out all weekend. So that's your turning point right there. It was 1-1. Ended up 5-1. The big 3-run homer to greet Wandy Peralta off the bat of Brandon Nimmo, who you see right there behind you. Alonso also homered today, hit 1 in each game of the series. 4 games in a row for Alonso as well. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Padres postcast, 6-1 Mets, 2-1 in the series. Pods 4 back of the Cubs, 2 up on the Mets in the wild card. 2.5 pending the Dodger game tonight against the Giants. That's their deficit in the NL West. We're going to keep it going with the star of the game, a look ahead to next week. And again, that 1-10 record, what does it all mean? What does it all mean? It's going to be a long time before I finish. One of the many missions that I had to establish, to take a break and do some spots and come back and finish a strong show of Locked On Padres postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, and you might wonder, a lot of people, I wonder if you know what it means to find your energy. And that is 5-hour energy, in case you were wondering. Yeah, you see me every night, and you see all this energy I have, all these things just popping together and coming at you full speed ahead. And I am about to tell you what gives me that energy to come this way for you, show after show after show. And it's actually pretty simple when you think about the formula. It's the formula. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade, baby. Yes, it did. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Hey, I was born on the 17th. It's all in the numbers, baby. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. Case in point, right? What I love most, how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere, and you get that boost whenever you need it. Why do you like it? What does it remind you of? It's different for everybody. You got to love those taste buds just exploding with the 5-hour energy, though. I love 5-hour energy. There's no doubt about it. One of my favorite things to do is crank up that motor on the inside. I love how fast it kicks in, sugar-free. Don't have to worry about crashing later. You know what I'm saying? So enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor boost and a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in store or online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today for 5-hour energy on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is also brought to you by Monarch Money. What a great name. Monarch Money. Sounds regal, doesn't it? Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth. Are you one of those people? I was. Whether it's 401ks, whether it's properties, whether it's investments. You know what I'm saying? You just don't get the full picture. And when you don't, you can end up leaving money on the table. And you don't ever want to do that. That's why there's Monarch Money, right? It's an all-in-one personal finance tool, bringing your entire financial life clearly together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives like you and me. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. It does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. And that's dope AF, isn't it? Right? You can identify that you're not saving as much as you thought. Maybe you're spending too much on the laziness apps, the food deliveries, things like that. Maximizing your investments, increasing your savings, easily reviewing finances with your partner, maybe your financial advisor, maybe it's professional, whatever it is, you're keeping a clear view of your financial health week to week and long-term, etc. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks on you. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONMLB from Monarch Money on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, 6-1 the final, 2-1 series win for the come on out and beat the Mets, but you didn't. You swept them earlier this season, thankfully, so you own the tiebreaker over them if they catch you and tie you, and they're only 2 games out with 9 left, and you're 4 behind the Cubs, 2.5 behind the Dodgers, who play the Giants tonight, and you could be 3 out with the tiebreak in the hands of the Dodgers, which makes it 4, and the Cubs are 4, so you see what I'm saying here. And you split with the Cubs, so I'm not sure about the tiebreak there. But Javier Reyes, Locked On Padres, podcast day in and day out on all these same channels, YouTube, and then, of course, we upload, you download, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and, yeah, you know me, OTT, Roku, free, over-the-top television. All right, again, 6-1. I've been teasing you, and I've told you about the concerns I have with the starting pitching, the bullpen depth with Estrada, and then Peralta gives up the homer today. Morgan's banged up. Adams out. So you're really relying heavily on Miller, who went an inning in the third yesterday, on Suarez, who has a couple of appearances lately that are more than an inning, and Morejon. And again, he's been doing yeoman-like work, 12 wins, an all-star, more than an inning's worth of work several times for him. So it really is concerning that bullpen depth without Adam and with those other fringe guys maybe struggling a little bit now, Matsui, Peralta, Estrada, those types of guys, right? That next level in between the Morgans and those guys. But then at the top of it, you have Suarez and Miller. And I'd say Morejon, who might be right there with Estrada, who had that one real hot streak this season. And I am not really feeling that middle relief right now. And the starters this series, Michael King, ripped, early shower. Randy Vasquez, destroyed, early shower. We're talking 2 innings, for these guys, 2-3 innings. And then Pivetta, one of his shortest outings of the season, taken out after only 84 pitches with a runner on first and the tying run coming to the plate after having given up 3 homers, including 1 earlier in that inning. So they ripped King, destroyed him, ripped Vasquez, destroyed him, and hit 3 homers off Pivetta, who had to be yanked after 84 pitches in the 5th inning. So the starting pitching has been very, very concerning lately for the Padres. I know you're on board with that. The starting pitching has been real tough. And I'm not seeing any signs. Cease was real good last time. Darvish has been up and down, always seems to give a big homer every start. Cease with the walks, the fastball command, it's been tough. So the starting pitching, the bullpen depth, the offense, inability to get these big innings going. Earlier in the year when they were going well, after the deadline, when all these guys, Laureano comes in, starts hitting, O'Hearn, and then you start really doing what you did all year long, which was playing that small ball, moving guys over, bunts, stolen bases, hitting runs, sack flies, manufacturing runs. This series, you ran yourself out of a bunch of runs, and that hasn't happened all year long. It's uncharacteristic. The defense has been real good all year, but the starting pitching and the bullpen depth, deeply concerning, and lately their inability to manufacture runs, to put together big innings without the long ball. That's been very tough for the Padres lately as well. But all show long, I've been teasing you with a number, and then we're going to hit the star of the game, and then we're going to get out of here. I've been teasing you with a number, 1 and 10. I almost said 10 and 1, but it's 1 and 10. What do you think that 1 and 10 signifies? What could that 1 and 10 record that the Padres have posted this year, what does it all mean, Gries? Please tell me. You're killing me, dog. What is it? I'll tell you right now. You're not going to like it. The Padres are 1 and 10 in series this year against teams that are in the playoffs as of right now. Let me repeat. Against teams who are in the playoffs as of right now. If the season ended today, they'd all be playoff teams. If the season ended today, they're 1 and 10 in series. That's their series record, not their games record. Their series record against playoff teams. Their series record against playoff teams. And that is something that is deeply, deeply concerning. Deeply concerning. And that's it. John and Jim. Shout out to John and Jim. Because I was watching them a little bit, and I got that tidbit from them. So shout out to John and Jim. But And you guys know who they are. But it's that's deeply concerning. 1-10 series record against teams that are actually in the playoffs as of right now for your Padres. Throw that with the rotation that's getting ripped, the inconsistencies of Cease and Darvish, who are coming up next. You got to sweep the White Sox in Chicago. And again, it's baseball. Momentum, next day's pitcher. I get it. Offense could get hot like that. You want them to be hot in 10 days, not now, right? Yes, because you're already pretty much in the playoffs for the most part. 4-game lead, 9 left, So you want to be hot in a week. You want to be hot in a week, and you want to be down with the king. All that in a week's time. All right, let's get out of here. But before we do,
this is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Boy, I mean, some days it's just tough to pick one. It's just one of them days. It's hard to pick one, right? So if you're looking at the New York Mets side, obviously they won the game 6-1, and you're going to look at Jonah Tong, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't even earned. Struck out 8 for the 22-year-old. What a nice job by him. He was fantastic. Alonso hit homers in every game of the series, had 2 RBIs today as well. And then you look at Nimmo with the big 3-run homer. So that's the Mets side, and that's pretty much what it was today. And when you're looking at the Padres side, Fernando was 2 for 4. I mean, so yeah, 2 for 4. Fernando had 2 hits last night too. So 4 hits in his last couple of games. So Fernando Tatis Jr. was great today for the Padres. Matsui and Rodriguez each threw a scoreless inning, as did Kyle Hart. 2 games in the series, Kyle Hart was very good in relief. Maybe they're finding something out of the bullpen with the lefty Kyle Hart. Who knows with Ruben Niebla and the magic that he can work for the Padres. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, Dylan Cease on the mound tomorrow. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're only a day away. That game, 4:40, first pitch, that's Pacific time. Dylan Cease, 8-11, 4.59 against Davis Martin, 0-10. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. 6-10 with a 4.01 earned run average. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Thank you so much for being here. Always with your Padres postcast. We're live right after every game on YouTube. Then after that show, we upload, you download. Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, and Roku. You down with OPP? No, OTT. Yeah, you know me at 53. All right, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. Everybody, just relax. Everything's going to be okay. The Padres cemented in that 2-hole in the wild card race. It would be a 3-game series in Chicago against the Cubs if it ended right now. And that's looking like the way it's going to be, because you're 2.5 behind the Dodgers, who play the Giants tonight. Could be 3 by the end of the night. Could be 2. But again, you add a game because the Dodgers have the tiebreaker against the Padres. So many real good teams heading down the wire. It's going to be interesting to see who gets hot in a week to 10 days time and goes on that postseason run. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget Javier Reyes, every day Locked On Padres podcast, and Locked On MLB Game Night. Every night, every game, local analysis on a national scale until someone holds up that trophy at the end of the World Series. You're not going to want to miss Locked On MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. For Javier Reyes, and eternally grateful for all of you. Thank you for being here on your Padres postcast. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, reminding you always to keep your game tight and your mind right, Pods fans. 6-1 Mets, 2-1 series win. White Sox next tomorrow. I am out.